Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm Linda.
I'm Seth.
I'm Charles.
And I'm Chris.
And we have a couple of guests joining us on the podcast today. I'd like to start off welcoming Matthew Rotundo, who we interviewed on our last podcast, local area author. Matt, do you want to introduce yourself to the folks?
Hi, guys. I'm Matt. As Bill said, I'm a writer from Omaha, and I put out a series of books called The Prison World Revolt, of which the first book is called Petra. The second one is Petra Released, and the third one is Petra Rising, which you can all find at my website, MatthewSRotundo.com.
All right.
Glad to be here.
And good. Thank you. And then Jermaine, want to welcome Jermaine to the show. Jermaine's a good podcast buddy of mine from Trekker's Delight. So, Jermaine, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks?
Hey, guys. My name is Jermaine Watson. It's nice to be with you all.
Hi, Jermaine. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about the latest Doctor Strange movie, Multiverse of Madness. And we also want to touch a little bit on the upcoming season 4 of Stranger Things, which I think we've all got at least one or two questions that we hope this season will answer for us. But let's start off with Multiverse of Madness. Now, Linda and I have not seen it, and I think Charles hasn't seen it, but have all the rest of you seen it?
Yes, I have.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's kick it off here. Seth, since you seem to be a huge fan of the Multiverse of Madness, you want to give us just a quick kind of overview of what it's about?
All right. So I guess first, spoiler warning. We are going to spoil the movie a little bit. So, Bill, Linda, if you don't want to hear.
No, go ahead. You're good. Go for it.
Spoiler away.
So, the Multiverse of Madness starts off with a Doctor Strange who looks different than we've seen before, running through this crazy kind of planescape with a girl who we've also never seen before. They're being chased by this horrible demon thing and end up or we don't know who anyone is, what the heck's going on, but apparently the girl, who is America Chavez, is in possession of some power that this beast is after, and it's very bad if the beast gets it. So they're kind of they're backed up against a wall, and this version of Doctor Strange chooses to try and steal America's powers rather than save her, on the theory that they'll be better. It would be way better if he had the power than if she did. And that goes sideways, and she ends up opening a door into another universe because, spoiler alert, that's her power. She can cross universes. And they end up with Doctor Strange in the mainline MCU world.
We're familiar with.
Yep. And that's where things take off from there. And so the main story is Doctor Strange is attempting to keep her safe from the threat that's chasing her through the multiverse. And in the process, he goes to get help from the Scarlet Witch, Wanda, who we last saw in the WandaVision series.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys ever watch WandaVision?
I did.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so the movie doesn't assume that you've watched the series because they do catch you up on what happened there, where Wanda had a couple kids in this reality that she'd created and then lost them. And she's spent the intervening time going through this book called The Darkhold, trying to get her children back. And we come in and we meet her in the movie. It looks like it at first appears like she's abandoned magic and has kind of come to peace with her loss and is ready to help Steven help this girl who's apparently being chased by someone who can use witchcraft. And no, she
Not so much.
yeah, she's been the bad guy the whole time and has gone super freaking evil in the just like all the way off the deep end. And
all right.
yeah, so I don't want to go through the whole plot of the whole movie because that's not good podcasting. So from that point on, it is
it's a fun ride.
Yeah, Doctor Strange keeping America away from the Scarlet Witch and all the things that happen thereof, and we get some really good fan service on the way. We get confirmation of some of the multiverse stuff, but if you were hoping for X-Men in the MCU, it's still not there. It's closer.
Glimpses of it, but it's not there.
Now, Seth, you liked the show.
I
Is
did.
that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very different Marvel movie from what we've seen before.
Okay, and Jermaine, let me just ask you: what was your opinion? Did you like it?
No, I did not like it.
Oh no! All right, okay.
Awesome.
And let's go to Chris. Chris, what was your thought? Did you like it or not? Like
It's worth a watch. I could take it or leave it, but I also kind of didn't like it. It wasn't great for me.
All right, Matthew, what do you think?
I liked it. I don't know if it's like upper echelon Marvel, but I did enjoy it. For a number of reasons. So,
all right,
and it's definitely not Thor Dark World.
No.
What's that, Seth?
It's definitely not Thor Dark World.
No,
right.
No, right. I'd rank it better than that. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me jump down then to Jermaine and ask you what you didn't like about it.
Well, so it was a major departure from regular Marvel movies in the sense that okay, so were there funny moments? Yes. Did they build the plot? Yes. Did everything connect? No. I loved the switch, right? Like going into the movie, like I knew that Wanda was going to be the villain, but I'd forgotten about it. Some ways into the movie, I'd forgotten that she wasn't. So the reveal there was a good reveal. But there were just so many different missing pieces to that movie. It was almost as if there were parts of the movie that were taken out because of time. And we were just missing some things.
All right.
Yeah, I'd agree with that on echoing that it felt like there wasn't enough time spent in some areas, and it felt short from that perspective. Like maybe if they had drawn some things out, dug deeper into like for this being the Multiverse of Madness, I didn't feel like we got to see a lot of multiverses. We got one short scene where we go through all these different ones, but I felt like we were missing out on an adventure there because there were opportunities to have to maybe do a little bit of adventuring through different multiverses to try and solve a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chris, that's valid. Although I'm going to agree with you and then disagree with you. I agree that they probably didn't do as much with the premise of the multiverse as they could have. Mm-hmm. They paid kind of a bit of lip service to it, and then there's like, well, we need to get on with the story here, and so they didn't do too much more with that. If you are just, by the way, interested in stories about multiverses, there is a movie you need to see which is called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I think Charles, you
yeah,
just saw
yeah,
that.
I went and saw that. It was. I'm not a big multiverse fan, so I'm very critical about that. It was fun.
Wouldn't a multiverse fan have to be huge just by definition if it's going to cool all the multiverses?
Yes, well, that's kind of But
this is why we can't keep guests.
But yeah, I think Everything Everywhere All at Once, though, yeah, if multiverses are not your thing, this is not the movie for you, because this movie goes full on headfirst into the whole multiverse concept, and it will take you to bizarre places. It is one of the most whacked out things I've ever seen in my life.
It was the cinematography, and it was good.
Yeah.
Well, I love Michelle Yeoh and pretty much everything, so I do want to see that.
There was some of the family relationship stuff. I'm not even sure I understood it at the end, but I think they took there's kind of a joke in there about the bagel with everything on it.
I mean everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I think they took that too far in my opinion, but it almost ruined it in a way. But
so
if you're heavy into multiverse stuff, that would be the movie to watch.
We don't get to meet the pig Doctor Strange, do we?
No.
No, we don't, unfortunately. So anyway, yeah. So if multiverses are your thing, you're going to see that concept explored better in that movie than in this movie. I will disagree with Chris, though, about the running time, because I thought that was one of the pluses of a lot of the Marvel movies are pretty damn long. This one clocks in at just over 2 hours, and that was refreshing for me. And it was refreshing to me that it gets started right away. I mean, wham bang, you are into this. And I think this is very much in keeping. I give some credit to Sam Raimi for this, because he's the guy who directed it, and this is very much a Sam Raimi film. In that sense, he doesn't waste time. Boom, you're in it, and you just kind of go, and he kind of dares you to keep up with him.
And what's different, I feel, about this one is, it does kind of break Marvel formatting, but this is kind of their first horror, set in the MCU.
So was it designed to be more of a horror type?
Yeah,
it felt much more like a horror. It did.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of the Scarlet Witch is set up very much in horror movie witch fashion.
Yeah, and there's even a scene. Okay, they're getting chased in a tunnel, and there's a scene where the Scarlet Witch pops in. They're like, "Where did she go?" And she pops in, and it made me jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It the way they did it was very, very much horror like. And I think it gave it gave credibility to how scary she was at that moment, right? And I definitely appreciated that aspect of it. This Wanda is nothing compared to the Scarlet Witch that we get in the Multiverse of Madness. So
yeah, so there's one scene where the sorcerers had kind of trapped her in the mirror dimension. But then she flips it on him and starts using mirrors against them, and then just fully does one of those horror movie creepy,
like the Ring or something like that. She crawls out of the TV. Yeah. I was like, "Oh,
right out of the ring!"
Yeah, that's stuff we haven't seen in a Marvel movie before, and it freaking worked because, Wanda was just such a power in that movie that she was the horror movie villain, where all you can do is run. You can't really fight her.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit confused. And so what happened to the beast in the beginning that was after the woman with the artifact?
The first beast gets killed in that other dimension, I think, and then she's pursued by another beast. Which is you see the giant eyeball monster that in the beginning, and that was another thing that they Disney was kind of skirting a little bit with its gore. And was this still PG or PG-13?
People mentioned the gore because before I went to
thought it
see
was
it,
light on gore.
my nephew had even said to me, "It's like, oh, it's pretty gory," and I was like, I didn't really find it all that gory.
I didn't find it all that gory either. I did think they were trying to breach an area where they normally don't go to, but they could have gone further.
Yeah,
I didn't see enough blood.
They shied away from certain things, like I don't. I'm not going to describe exactly what they shied away from, but they full on tear the eyeball out of that giant eyeball monster, and the first 10 minutes of the movie, and I was just like, okay, this is where.
Yeah, I think that did a good job of setting the tone for it, and to go back about what I didn't like about the movie was, yes, it was a departure from previous MCU films. For me, it was lacking a profound point to be made. Usually, there's something somebody says that really brings together a story or something somebody's struggling with internally. And in this film, America Chavez can't control her power, right? And she's gone all this time without being able to control it, and it takes one line at the end of the film where he's like, believe in yourself, and then that's what does it.
Well,
and I about near threw my drink across the theater. And now she can control her power, and it was that one motivational person that she's got to come across, and that fixes it. And that's not Marvel to me. Marvel has historically been very good about having that profound moment that's more than just a line. There's something that builds up to it or something like that. So that I was disappointed in it. And I think from that point near the end, I went back and retrospectively was just kind of, some things fell flat for me. As much as I enjoyed the ride, that's where it kind of started to fall flat for me.
I think the profound point that they were trying to make wasn't with America so much as Stephen Strange's ability to kind of forgive himself for failing in the past and being able to be happy. That was kind of the emotional journey of that.
There is that, but you don't really spend a lot of the film on it. I guess it's where parts are kind of cut out. Maybe
exactly.
We have very few moments of focusing on that, and then you kind of run back into the next crazy thing that's happening. And I get where time can be an issue in a film, but I'd rather have a longer film that's complete than slicing and dicing a little bit down to the point where you end up with something a little bit different or maybe it's missing something. So, and that's why I say I could take or leave the film, because overall it was a fun ride. I appreciate the deviation, but at the same time I was just kind of hoping for more substance from some of the characters.
So let me just jump in real quick. So if this is setting up Marvel for horror in the future, I think they probably, especially once you see the second movie, you reflect back on this movie, it'll probably be a better movie then at that point. I will also say that America Chavez, that particular character, that was it wasn't even a major point to the movie, right? Just the fact, okay, she can't use her powers, and the fact that other doctors would use her power, but this doctor, the doctor that we know, decided not to use her power. Mm-hmm. And I think that evolution of that particular character, I think that was kind of what we were left to deal with.
Yeah, you guys make some good points about that. I was kind of into the movie, so that scene that Chris mentions at the end where she figures out how to use her power, and it's just like you said, it's just totally glossed over, and I get that. Mm-hmm. And I think probably it's because it really wasn't her story, and I'm not entirely sure it was Doctor Strange's story. If there was the deepest character arc I saw in this story was Wanda's. Mm-hmm. Wanda's kind of going for, there is the most emotional parts of the story concern her.
Yes,
and
I agree.
There's an emotional scene right at the climax of the story there where she kind of has to come to terms with what she has done. That works. It works pretty well for me, but it's not really Doctor Strange's story, and it's not America's story either.
Yeah, and that was so on that specific note on Wanda, and thinking about that you're 100% right. That it really strikes with me because when she has to confront herself in the end, and she's looking at her kids and she sees how her kids look at her and what she's become. That's when it hits home. That spoke to me. That moment right there, that was very emotional. That was very, oh my gosh, my kids have seen me turn into the monster. And we didn't. I don't feel like we got that so much with a lot of the other characters, but in thinking about that, who was this movie really about? Was it Doctor Strange? Was it America Chavez? No, it was more like a Wanda movie, if anything.
And this isn't actually the first time that Disney's done that, where the supposed antagonist is actually filling the role of the protagonist of the film. That was also kind of Infinity War, where Thanos was the one who was driving the plot. He was the one taking the actions and making everyone react to him. And we were almost a lot more in his head and understanding his motivations for why he was doing things rather than the heroes. So Matt's got a real good point there in that, like, Wanda's the one who's moving the plot forward.
And that's very often the case with action adventure stories just in general. I think I've heard it said that action adventure stories really depend on the quality of the villain. And you think about that, like through all the action adventure stories, whether they're in genre or not. I mean, you look at Star Wars. What would Star Wars be without Darth Vader?
Right.
And you look at even take an action movie like Die Hard. What would it have been without Hans Gruber? Right.
Yeah. Right.
It's the quality of the villain is I think key to making a good action adventure story, but that doesn't take away from the points that Jermaine and Chris mentioned. That's, hey, there are some things that get glossed over or not necessarily in there, which could have been, I think.
All right. Who else here is a big Marvel Comics reader or normal?
Yeah, I am not, unfortunately.
So I think one of the bigger things, I think this movie is necessary in the MCU because it's going to be fundamental towards what's coming forward because of some key things that they said and laid out in the film. And one of the biggest ones were the incursions that they were talking about. And that, I think, is going to be one of the big phase 4 or phase 5 things is these incursions.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So for those that haven't watched it or don't remember, can you go through the incursions? Seth,
okay.
What happens there?
So when they end up in another one of these realities, one of the multiverses, where the inhabitants are familiar, much more familiar with the multiverse, and they tell Steven that his jumping between worlds is in danger of causing incursions. And what those are is when two universes are drawn too close together by people popping over from one side to another, they can impact each other, and either one will be annihilated or both will be annihilated. And in the comics, this was the central theme of one of the huge events where Marvel was kind of doing a reboot in the comics universe where they took all their various multiverses and smashed them all together until there was only one left. And it was a great big comic event, and there were a lot of good things, and they used that to bring Miles Morales into the mainstream universe and a couple other of these fan favorite characters who had only existed in one-offs and whatnot. So that, I think, is where things are heading, and that these incursions are going to be very important going forward.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see that stuff getting set up in some of the other Marvel properties that have been out there. Loki sets this up kind of as well, if you've watched that. So Loki tells you who the big bad is going to be for Phase 4. I hope, though, I'm personally leery about those kinds of reboots. Though sometimes those can be done well and sometimes not so much. I think of the most recent Star Trek movies, where they basically reset the Star Trek universe.
Right.
And I was not a fan of that. I was actually a big detractor of that. So I know we've got some Star Trek fans on the panel here, and I'll go all day talking about those Star Trek movies. Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan and Doctor Strange. They could meet each other.
Right.
Hey.
Yes, it's Khan and Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Well, we may have to have Matthew and Jermaine back when we talk about Strange New Worlds. I assume, Matt, you're watching that?
I have not seen any of it yet. I will tell you quite honestly. Well, number one, I don't have
Paramount Plus.
Well, yeah, I don't have Paramount Plus. But also, I mean, what little I have seen, I did see some of Discovery.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of Discovery too much. You kind of lost me with the Spore Drive. I'm sorry. I was like, are you kidding me? Come on. I'm supposed to be taking this seriously. No, you lost me with the Spore Drive. So
no, I'm sorry.
Me and Matt, we were on the same page.
Linda's reaction was priceless. She was like, no.
Wasn't impressed.
Well, I will say that Strange New Worlds is unlike Discovery.
Yeah.
And I think it harkens back more to the original series, much more than anything that we've seen heretofore. So I'd encourage you to check out a couple of the episodes, see what you think. It'd be interesting.
When I get a chance, I'm sure I'll check it out.
All right, cool. Well, before we get into Stranger Things, we'll just go around the room. And for the audience out there that maybe hasn't seen Multiverse of Madness yet.
Yeah, we just ruined it for you. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
We didn't spoil everything.
Yeah. Would you just want to know if you'd encourage them to see it or skip it? So, Matt, what do you say? See it or skip it?
I'd say see it. Might not want to see it more than once, but go see it.
Okay. Seth?
Absolutely see it. If nothing else, for the fan service in the middle. There's an excellent scene that I specifically didn't say anything about, but that just made the inner nerd in me just stand up and be like, oh, I'm so happy right now.
All right. Jermaine, see it or skip it?
Definitely see it. I mean, you should see every Marvel movie.
Right. All right. And Chris?
Yeah, I agree. It's at least worth a watch at least once. So I don't know that I'd watch it again, but I did enjoy it, and I loved the horror movie twist on it. So there were definitely some positive things. Just didn't love it.
All right. Very good. All right. Well, let's jump right into Stranger Things. If there's anything stranger than Doctor Strange, this would be it.
Well, there's got to be some good episode title I can come up with. Doctor Stranger Things.
Yes, there you go.
Oh boy.
Well, so I think most of us have seen Stranger Things, and there's a lot of kind of unanswered questions out there. So let's just kind of go around and see what kind of questions or people might have that you're hoping gets answered in season 4. And I'll go ahead and start off. I've got a couple of questions. One is, how did Hopper?
It's Hopper.
I don't know why. Sometimes I always call him Hooper. I don't know why. Hopper. How did he end up in Russia is what I want to know. And I also want to know what is Russia's involvement in the Upside Down? How did they get involved there? So sort of the Russian aspect for me. Linda, let's jump to you. What questions might you have about season 4 of Stranger Things?
I think probably the same thing as what's this deal with Hopper in Russia? Is I think the main one that I would ask.
All right.
Well, where did we leave off in season 3?
Well, I'm hoping to get time to watch season 3
We gotta
this week
rewatch it.
just to rewatch it to
Oh.
get back up. The last thing I remember really was Hopper being in that prison cell in Russia, and I remember they they destroyed. Remember there was that huge underground laboratory that they found underneath
Underneath the
Hawkins.
mall.
Yeah, and there
that's-
was a big machine there that they managed to destroy.
Well, 11 fixes everything in season 3, right?
No, as a matter
Yeah.
of fact, she does not, which is one of the things I kind of liked about it. 11 loses her powers at the end of
Yes.
Right.
season 3.
Oh, that's right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How
Right.
did she
I
lose her
forgot about
power?
that.
She got basically bit by a mind flare and a monster,
That's
and it
right.
kind of infected her, and getting that out of her took her powers away
Her power.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. All
Or
right,
at least
Matt.
made him dormant. I guess that's what we're gonna find out.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, Matt. What are you looking forward to? In
Well, one thing, you mentioning the Russians, fine. It was never clear to me what the Russians were trying to do in season 3. That
Right.
was never explained. It's like, okay, the Americans tried, using the upside down and all that, and had catastrophic results as a result. And so, why are the Russians what are they actually hoping to do? Because they're actually trying to open this gate.
yeah.
Why? What in the hell? I mean, can't they learn a lesson from what happened to the stupid Americans who did that? So,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
critically,
So I would
they
like-
they are trying to open it in America, not in Russia. So
right? So yeah, there's that. I would kind of like to get an answer for that. That seems like it's just kind of a ball that was dropped, and I don't know why.
Right.
And I would also, like to. It's very clear to me that we are going to find out in season 4 how it's a big part of season 4 is going to be 11 trying to get her powers back.
Right.
That much is clear just looking at the previews for it, that 11's
Yeah.
going to be trying to get her powers back. And so I think that's going to be an interesting arc now. And there's a lot of history that we don't know yet.
Right. All right. Let's jump over to Chris. Chris, what
Yeah,
are you
for me,
looking
it's just seeing how the kids have continued to grow and develop, what their dynamics are between them. That's always been kind of a little bit of a side thing in there, but I'm interested in knowing how that goes. Obviously, 11 and what's next for her, and how is she dealing with not having her powers.
Right.
And then same thing with everyone else on Hopper. What's going on there, and what are the Russians doing? I agree with Matt. Let's dig into that. And are the Russians the only other ones trying to do something with the upside down? It can't just be America and the Russians, Given the time period, what's maybe Germany doing? What's some of these other countries doing as well? So,
Okay. Charles, how about you?
Well, I'm wondering if they're going to bring her sister back into the.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a good question.
That's been an episode that bothers me that they even bothered with it.
Yeah.
Unless she's going to come back into the arc somehow.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
be
that might be
surprised.
interesting. Yeah. Good
Sis-
one.
I don't know, but
I'll tell you, has anybody, Netflix has released the first 8 minutes of episode 1.
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
I have not watched that yet either. So.
I watched it just before we started recording this.
Yeah.
So I won't give anything away about it, but I will say that there are some pretty strong indications, Charles, that we might see more about that, because I don't think that was necessarily a one-off episode, and I think we might see her again.
Huh, interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, it looks like season 4 is headed for a big fight, like the big confrontation with the underside, and I would not be surprised if we not only see 11's sister, but maybe some of the other kids too.
Oh, that
like-
could be. Huh, interesting. All
Maybe
right.
you see the first 8 minutes. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh,
Let's go to Jermaine. Jermaine, what are you looking forward to, or questions that you'd like to see answered in season 4?
I have to admit, I didn't finish watching all of season 3, so I'm learning a lot from you all.
Sorry, yeah, we just destroyed the ending for you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to be in the background.
All right. Seth, how about you? Anything you're looking forward to in season 4?
Basically what I said. I'm looking forward to, this looks like they're gonna go out on a bang, and I'm looking forward to that series end.
Yeah.
However that happens, I think it's gonna be one of the cooler things we've seen on streaming television in a while. Just because this has been Netflix's one of their flagship shows.
Mhm.
And if this is the last season, I'm expecting it to go out pretty big. And from what I've seen, it looks like we're going to see some cool, or what we saw from the trailers, it looks like we're going to see some cool monsters. And maybe, like, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be wild, I think.
Just to clarify, this won't be the last season.
Oh, it won't.
There will be a 5th season. That's already been confirmed.
Wow.
So this is going to be the second to last season. But everything that I'm reading, I'm going to make a little prediction for you all here. Everything that I've been reading, they have really got it fairly well fleshed out now. How
Really?
they're going
All
to
right.
pretty well wrap it up. I mean, they had, owing to COVID, which was the cause, one of the main reasons why there was such a big delay between seasons 3 and 4. But it also gave the Duffer Brothers time to write out all of season 4, so they had it all written out before they even started filming, and they have a pretty good idea what they're going to do in season 5, and the idea is to wrap it up big in season 5. So my prediction is that season 4 is going to end on a massive cliffhanger that's going to have us all screaming, "You bastards!"
Probably.
All right. Well, I love it when I scream that at the end of a season.
Mhm.
That means they did their job right. I'm so anxious to see the next one. I'm wondering too. Well, let's go to Seth real quick. Seth, anything questions you're looking forward to having answered?
You just did me. You
I
just
did?
did me.
Yep.
It wasn't memorable.
Well, I do.
Ouch. That hurts.
I do have one more. I mean, I am looking forward to finding out what thing the mother,
Winona Ryder,
Winona Ryder's character,
Joyce Byers.
Joyce. No, yeah. Is it Joyce?
what wall
Joyce,
hanging or decoration or something is going to be used?
Christmas lights. Will she use this
Or
time?
magnets? Yeah, I mean, what's going to be the new one?
The Halloween costume for 2023 or 2022.
What's her new
could it
crafting
possibly
project?
Crafting
Crafting.
project, right? I'm wondering if Mike and 11 are actually going to end up getting together.
Well, Mike and 11, yeah. Well, what I thought was interesting is, again, Jermaine, I apologize. I am going to truly ruin. So at the end of season 3, 11 goes off with Will and Joyce. Okay, and we know that they are moving away, and they're leaving Hawkins, which, to my mind, is the smartest thing Joyce has ever done. Is like, get the hell out of Hawkins. It's like,
Right.
Yeah.
it's like the old Eddie Murphy routine is, why are you staying in the house if it's haunted? The ghost tells you to get out. Get out.
Get out.
Right?
Yeah.
So too bad we can't stay, right? So that was the smartest thing that she ever did. But she moved away with 11 and Will. Okay.
Right.
And I have to wonder. I mean, obviously that's going to put a strain on 11 and Mike's relationship, but there's always part of me that's making me wonder, is anything going to happen between 11 and Will, since they're going to be thrown together in a way they've never been thrown together? Those two characters really, I mean, Will was absent for almost all of season 1, and then and 11 was separated from all of the characters in season 2. So Will and 11 haven't had much interaction, right? And now they are thrown together. And I'm just wondering if anything's going to happen there.
Yeah, interesting. Hadn't thought about that, but you're right. All right. Well, let's see. I think we're approaching.
Did we hear from Jermaine?
We hit.
Yeah, we did.
He said he hadn't seen the end of season 3, so.
All right.
Yeah, we totally ruined all of season 3 for Jermaine now. So
yeah, he's
it wasn't memorable, Seth.
It wasn't memorable.
It was a stressful time in my life, and I had to give certain things up, and that was one of the things I gave up. And so you all are making me question my thought processes during that time.
Like the last couple of years have been rough, and if certain shows like stress you out, don't watch them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I'm looking. So it comes out May 27th. So less than
the first part of the season comes out May 27th.
Right.
Should qualify
they're
that.
separating the season into two chunks, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
do we know how many episodes?
This was just announced, actually. I've been following this kind of closely. You might be able to tell. It was. I originally thought there's going to be 9 episodes in the season. I originally thought they were going to release the first 5 and then the last 4 on July 4th. Now we are being told that they're going to release the first 7 episodes on the 27th and save the last 2 for July 4th.
Ooh, really?
Okay.
Oh,
and we've also been prepped to expect these episodes have a longer runtime, much longer runtime.
Oh wow!
They said some of the episodes are like feature length.
Wow!
I was just about to say that makes me think that they're really proud of the product that they have, because that runs across movie going time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they think they're going to get a large share of that.
They do. They've apparently are trying to get a lot done here in season 4. I got a lot of story,
and I'd rather have that. I'm a proponent of something, longer films to get in what you really need to get in. So they care that much about it that they're going to have the longer runtime. I'm excited now. Really excited.
Of course, now Matthew's got me thinking the end of episode 7, I'm going to be screaming, "You bastard!"
Probably.
And then they'll get you again on the end of episode 9.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's pretty cool. That'll be all right. If I'm screaming "you bastards," that means I'm happy.
They've done their job.
They've done their job.
You're invested.
Okay, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in, and thanks to our guest hosts and for chipping in and chiming in here on our conversations today. Let us know in the comments what you're looking forward to finding out from season 4 of Stranger Things, and anything that you'd like to see happen in this season. And we'll definitely have to get together again towards the end, maybe after the 7th show of season 4, and so we can all just scream "you bastards" together or something. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you all next week. Take care. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, I wasn't ready for it.
Damn it. Disappointed.
Here we go. All right, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.